many of the things you just described at Merck in terms of the people, the processes, the infrastructure apply to what's happening in broadcast right now. Um, if you were able here to kind of compare and contrast your work with human resources and what's needed for this transformation, I just love to hear it because without people, technology doesn't work.
Absolutely. Sometimes leaders think that if I just say so, it'll happen.
Mhm.
And especially in this day and age where we are right now, the Generation Z, the Generation Y, even Generation Z, um, it's a different mindset. It's 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 an indifference to authority.
Mhm.
It's a you put your pants on one leg at a time, just like I do, Mr. CEO or Mr. VP or Mr. SVP. Um, you're no different than me. And that indifference, that sort of, I guess it's just in a way, it's innovation, creativity, and we have to make sure that we're cultivating it and not shoving it down. And so, from the standpoint of where we are right now and how we leverage people, I've seen leaders um, who ignore the fact that they have to demonstrate inclusive leadership skills
Mhm.
and capabilities. They have to demonstrate equitable leadership and practices. And they don't really understand that because diversity is differences in people, those you can see and those you can't see.
Yeah.
You have to surround them with a culture of inclusion so you're able to leverage those differences to a collective purpose, whatever that vision is of that organization. And then the equity are the acts that you put in place to get all those people who are in different places because of their skills, their capabilities, their life experiences, their cultures, their identities. What do you have to put in place to get them to that collective purpose? Those are the acts of equity that you have to put in place. And leaders don't understand that. So now add on to, I talked about the generations and the differences in the generations too, but also technology and the advent of artificial intelligence and generative AI and all of the different aspects that are changing how we think
Yeah.
as individuals. you know, it's scary, John, how you go on your phone and you happen to stop you're scrolling and you happen to stop at an article that sort of sparks your attention, whatever it may be about. And the next thing you know, if you're on there for longer than 10 seconds, all of a sudden your feed is just changing as you're watching that. And all of a sudden, all of this stuff that corroborates or supports that article that you stayed on feed in. And so the role that media and broadcasting has played in all of that, and the role that I think they need to play, is to be able to be a voice of sanity in all of this noise, because you it's added to the divisiveness. Because if I'm only getting, because of the algorithm, articles and clickbait that substantiates what I believe because of what I'm reading and where I'm choosing to learn about things, then the person who doesn't think the way I do has an all different algorithm that's coming in their space. And it's just, there's a division that's just natural throughout technology, unfortunately. Then add to that the misinformation and then the strategic disinformation that's happening. We have to have a media has got to play a role that says, here's the truth. And, I go back to Walter Cronkite, right? Back in the day, if Walter Cronkite said this is it, then you believed it, right?